Welcome to class number 9 of Basic Electronics. So we were discussing about the diode and we discussed about the forward and reverse bias characteristics of a diode. Now today we will be discussing some diode models. Now to start with, let us emphasize on the fact that what is actually a diode. So a diode is basically something which conducts in the forward bias state and which doesn't conduct much current in the reverse bias state. So a diode is basically something from a of course electrical or electronics perspective. The diode is basically a device which conducts in the forward bias states and doesn't conduct in the reverse bias state. Or to state in other words, it is basically a device which has a low resistance state in forward bias and high resistance state in reverse bias. So low resistance state in forward bias basically means that in forward bias the diode conducts a large amount of current, and high resistance state in reverse bias basically means that in the reverse bias state the diode doesn't conduct any current. Of course this doesn't include the breakdown regime. Okay, whatever I have written here, these are valid in the regime which is outside the breakdown regime basically, or which exclude the breakdown regime. Okay, so all these conditions basically exclude the breakdown regime. Okay, now in this or from this viewpoint, what is actually an ideal diode? So we discussed right now that a diode is a device which basically conducts or which has a low resistance in the forward bias state and which doesn't conduct or which has a high resistance in the reverse bias state. So what should be the current voltage characteristics of an ideal diode? So let us first draw the current voltage characteristics of an actual diode. So this is basically the current voltage characteristics of an actual diode. So this is V and this is I. Now what is the current voltage characteristics of an ideal diode? So this is for actual diode. So as I stated that a diode is something which offers very less resistance in the forward bias state and which offers very high resistance in the reverse bias state. So for an ideal diode, because it would offer very low resistance in the forward bias state, the current voltage characteristics would basically look like this. Yeah. So this is the current voltage characteristics of an ideal diode, and this model is known as the ideal diode model. Okay, so this model basically states that I equal to 0 for V less than equal to 0 and di dv tends to infinity for V greater than 0. So if V is 0 or V is less than 0, which means the diode is basically in the reverse bias state, then the diode would not conduct any current at all. And if a negligible amount of positive voltage is applied to the diode, then the diode would be conducting infinite amount of current, or the current would increase at an infinite rate with the applied voltage. Okay, so this is the characteristics of an ideal diode. Of course, the ideal diode doesn't exist in reality. Okay, this is just a mathematical way to express the ideal characteristics of a diode, or this is a mathematical way to express that what is the characteristics of the diode that we should target. But real diodes doesn't have this IV characteristics. Real diode always have this cut-in voltage V gamma, beyond which the current increases very sharply with the applied voltage. Okay, so this is known as the ideal diode model, and the thing is that again this is a mathematical way to express that what characteristics of the diode we should target when we fabricate the diode, but there is no real diode that has this kind of characteristics actually. And another thing is that this model is almost never used. Okay, this is a mathematical model, but we never use this model for practical purposes actually. So this model is never used in most situation. Okay, now let us discuss another model, which is basically known as the piecewise linear model. So here let us again draw the IV characteristics of a real diode. Now piecewise linear model is basically a more appropriate model compared to the ideal diode model. So piecewise linear model. So why it is known as linear model? Because the model expresses IV characteristics in a linear format. As we noted that the diode equation is basically or the diode current basically varies exponentially with the applied voltage. So that equation is basically not linear. So in the piecewise linear model, we basically express the model or the approximate characteristics of the diode in a linear fashion and also in a piecewise fashion. So there are pieces which we basically fit into the characteristics here. So this model basically states so that for V less than equal to V gamma or V less than V gamma, I equal to 0, and for V greater than equal to V gamma, di dV basically tends to infinity. So basically this model gives us a characteristics like this. So for V greater than or equal to V gamma, di dV is infinity, which means this is a line with a 90-degree slope. And then for V less than V gamma, I is equal to 0. So I is basically equal to 0 for V less than V gamma. So this is basically, this blue line is basically known as the piecewise linear model, and this is the model that we would be using for most of our calculations or most of our problems unless otherwise stated. So unless otherwise stated, we would be using this model for most calculations. And this model actually gives a pretty approximate or pretty accurate value to the real problem actually. Okay, so if we use this model, the result doesn't vary much compared to if we use the actual current voltage model of the diode, where the current varies exponentially with the diode voltage. Okay, so this model gives us a very close answer to what the actual model of the diode or the actual IV characteristics of the diode gives, and that is why we basically use this model for most of our calculations. And these two equations, what they basically tell us, of course the mathematically they tell us that if the diode voltage, or if the voltage across the diode is less than the cut-in voltage, then the current is 0, and if the voltage across the diode is slightly greater than or equal to cut-in voltage, then the current basically increases at an infinite rate with the applied voltage. So this basically means two things. One is that the voltage across the diode can't exceed V gamma for practical purposes. So basically for practical purposes we would have finite current, and for finite current the voltage across the diode would be approximately constant at V gamma, because the current basically increases at an infinite rate with the applied voltage. And the second thing is that for any finite value of the current, the voltage across the diode is always fixed at V gamma. For any finite value of current, the voltage across the diode is fixed at V gamma. Okay, so when the diode is basically conducting, the voltage of the diode is fixed at V gamma. When the diode is not conducting, the voltage across the diode is basically less than V gamma. So this is what this model basically means. And I repeat again that we would be using this model for most calculations or for most problems, and also this model actually excludes the breakdown regime. Okay, so this model basically covers this much regime of the diode. Okay, it excludes the breakdown regime basically. Okay, and the reason why it is known as piecewise linear model is because we are basically modeling the characteristics of the diode in two linear pieces. One is this piece where dIdV is infinity, and the second one is this piece where the current is basically 0. So we are basically modeling the diode characteristics in two pieces which are linear. Okay, so that is why this model is known as the piecewise linear model. Okay, so let us now so these two basically are AC models of the diode. Now sorry, these two models are basically DC models of the diode. So now let us see the small signal AC model. So small signal AC model. So let me first explain that what is the meaning of this model. First of all, AC model. So AC model basically means a model that gives us a relation between the AC components of the voltage and current. Okay, so AC model gives us a relation only between the AC components of the current and voltage, and it doesn't give us any relation between the DC voltage and DC current. So if we have a DC voltage and an AC voltage, for example, if we have this situation where we have VDC and a VS which is in series with this VAC over here, okay, and then a diode, and which is basically grounded here. So the total voltage is basically VDC plus VAC. So since there is a DC voltage component and an AC voltage component, the current must also contain a DC current component and an AC current component. So the small signal AC model basically relates the AC voltage with the AC current. It doesn't give us any relation between the DC voltage and the DC current. Okay, and the meaning of this small signal, what is the meaning of this small signal? So small signal basically means that VAC or the amplitude of the AC voltage is much lesser than VDC. Okay, which is generally the case because let us say AC components of the signals are basically those signals which are coming from air, which are basically electromagnetic signals that our antenna catches, or the electromagnetic signals that are basically processed at amplifying stations. So these signals are generally electromagnetic signals which come from the air and or which travel through the air, and the amplitude of this AC signal is typically very small. Okay, the DC voltage is basically, if we consider practical electronic devices, for example your mobile phone, the DC voltage basically comes from your battery, which basically gives a voltage of 1.8 volts or 2 volts or 5 volts. Let us say for your computer the SMPS gives the voltage of 12 volts and 5 volts. So 12 volts and 5 volts are basically these DC voltages. The AC voltage on the other hand, for your mobile phone, is the signal which the antenna catches from the air. So its amplitude is typically 10 millivolt or 100 millivolt or something like that. Okay, so practically this AC voltage is actually much less than the DC voltage, and that is what the meaning of this small signal is in this small signal AC model. And the AC models that we are going to study again relates only the AC component of the voltage with the AC component of the current, and this model is basically only valid for small signals, that is when VAC is much less than VDC. Okay, so let us see what this small signal AC model basically is. Let us consider this IV characteristics of the diode. So this axis here is basically the current axis, and now let us consider this situation where this AC voltage is connected across the diode, and the amplitude of this AC voltage, which is VAC, let us consider is much less than V gamma, which generally happens for practical cases in diodes actually. So this is the cut-in voltage V gamma over here. Now this voltage is an AC voltage. Again, this is varying. So let us consider this negative axis also to be the time axis here, and this this AC voltage is basically varying like this with time. So now, although this AC voltage is connected across the diode, note that the amplitude, or since the amplitude of this AC voltage is less than V gamma, the total current is actually 0. Okay, so at this point, this is the highest amplitude of the AC voltage, which is basically, again I repeat that this is basically VAC over here. So this point is the amplitude of the AC voltage VAC, and since at this point, if I consider the IV characteristics of the diode, I can easily understand that the current across the diode is 0, because this voltage is much less than V gamma. Okay, and similarly for the negative amplitude here also. So this voltage here is minus VAC. So at this voltage also the current across the diode is actually 0. So if I actually apply a small signal AC voltage across the diode and the amplitude of the AC voltage is much less than V gamma, then the current across the diode would approximately be 0, because that voltage is not sufficient to cross the cut-in voltage of the diode. So V gamma, I again repeat, is basically called the cut-in voltage of the diode, and this is the voltage beyond which the diode current increases very sharply with the applied voltage. Okay, the cut-in voltage is basically the voltage beyond which the diode current increases very sharply with the applied voltage. Okay, so if the amplitude of the AC signal is much less than this value V gamma, then the current across the diode is actually 0 or approximately 0. Now let us consider another situation where instead of only this AC voltage, there is a DC voltage also which superimposes with this AC voltage, or which is connected in series with this AC voltage. So we have a DC voltage here which is connected in series with this AC voltage. So this voltage is VDC, and VDC is actually greater than V gamma. Okay, so VDC is greater than V gamma. This basically means, or let us assume that V gamma basically lies somewhere here. VDC lies somewhere here. So VDC is greater than V gamma. This point is V gamma, and VDC lies somewhere at this point. Okay, greater than V gamma. So this point is basically VDC. Okay, so corresponding to this DC voltage, there is actually a DC current that flows through the diode. So how can you find out the DC current that flows through the diode? You basically take this point here and then you map it to the current axis. So you map it to the current axis here. So this is basically the DC current, which is IDC. Let me write in the other direction. So this is basically IDC. Now this DC voltage is superimposed with an AC voltage. So the total voltage V total is basically VDC plus VAC. Okay, so note that VAC is an alternating voltage, and VDC plus VAC, when we plot VDC plus VAC, it would look like an alternating voltage is actually oscillating with VDC as the axis. So VDC plus VAC, if we plot on this graph here with this negative axis as the time axis, it would basically look like this. Okay, so VDC plus VAC is basically an oscillating signal that would basically look like this, considering the negative y axis is the time axis. We are plotting this against time. So now what is the range of variation of current? So if we plot the range of variation of current, or let us say what is the minimum current. So the minimum voltage is actually given by this voltage around here. This is the minimum voltage, this voltage. So corresponding to this minimum voltage, we have the minimum current. So we just again map this IV equation of the diode to the current axis, and then we get the minimum current here, which is basically I min. So this is the minimum current, and what is the maximum current? So we basically again map this. So this is the maximum voltage over here. Sorry, this is the maximum voltage. So on the voltage axis, this is the point of the maximum voltage. So we basically map this voltage again on the IV characteristics of the diode. Well, it doesn't intersect these characteristics, but to understand, let us make it intersect actually. So let us assume that the IV characteristics of the diode goes like this, and let us assume that this is the point of intersection. And so the maximum diode current, to get the maximum diode current, we must again map this current to the, or this IV characteristics of the diode to the current axis over here. So this is the maximum current of the diode, which is I max over here. So the total current basically varies between this I min here, which corresponds to the current at the minimum voltage, and I max over here, which corresponds to the current at the maximum voltage. Okay, so again I repeat that this voltage here is basically the maximum voltage, which is VDC plus the amplitude VAC, and this voltage over here corresponds to the minimum voltage, which is basically VDC minus the amplitude VAC. Okay, so the current basically varies in this fashion now. Sorry, the current starts from here. Okay, so now what is the DC component of the voltage? So this VDC is the DC component of the voltage. What is the AC component of the voltage? So this VAC is the AC component of the voltage. Now what is the DC component of the current? So the DC component of the current is basically this value IDC, which corresponds to the DC voltage. So I have written it here, IDC. Okay, so this is basically like an axis over which this IAC is actually oscillating. Okay, so IAC is basically oscillating on this axis. So this is the DC value of the current, IDC, and what is the AC component of the current? So the AC component of the current is basically this component over here. Okay, so note that earlier when we were just putting an AC voltage across the diode with the condition that VAC is much less than V gamma, then no AC current was actually flowing through the diode, because the total amplitude of the AC voltage is less than the diode cut-in voltage. Now we have actually put a DC voltage in series with the AC voltage. So now a large AC component of the current actually flows through the diode. So basically by putting the DC voltage in series with the AC voltage, we are first bringing the diode to the low resistance regime, or to a regime which is, or where the applied voltage is actually greater than V gamma. So by putting this DC voltage in series with the AC voltage, we are actually crossing the cut-in voltage V gamma, and then by putting the AC voltage, we are basically getting a large component of the AC current. So the function of this DC voltage is basically to cross, or to take the regime of operation of the diode at a voltage which is greater than V gamma. Okay, the function of the DC voltage is basically to cross this cut-in voltage V gamma. Okay, so the DC voltage basically takes the diode to a low resistance regime where there is a large variation in the current with a small variation in the applied voltage. Okay, so the function of the DC voltage is to cross the cut-in voltage V gamma, or to take or to bring the operation of the diode to the low resistance regime. So now let me explain what is the meaning of this term low resistance regime. So let us look at this part. So for this part, there is a very small variation in the current with a variation in the applied voltage, or for this part there is a very small variation of the current with a variation in the applied voltage. So these are basically the high resistance regime. Okay, here there is no variation in current with the variation in the applied voltage. So this is basically the high resistance regime. This regime, on the other hand, for this regime there is a large variation in the current with a small variation in the applied voltage. So this is basically the low resistance regime. Okay, so the function of this DC voltage is actually to bring the operation of the diode to this low resistance regime, and we define this AC voltage, we define the small signal AC resistance as the slope of this curve, the slope of this IV curve at this DC point over here. Okay, so why? Because this is the DC operating point of the diode. This corresponds to the DC voltage here, and this also corresponds to the DC current over here. Now the AC voltage would be oscillating on the top of this DC voltage. So if the DC voltage basically changes, or if the voltage across the diode basically changes by a small amount VAC, then the slope of this curve, over here basically gives me that how much current increases for a small increase in the applied voltage. I repeat again that this point over here, this gives me the DC point. So this corresponds to the DC voltage here, which is this point on the voltage axis, and this also corresponds to the DC current here, which corresponds to this point on the current axis. Now the AC voltage would actually be oscillating on the top of this DC voltage. So a small increase in the total voltage across the diode, how would I find the small increase in current with a small increase in the applied voltage across the diode? So I basically would measure the slope of this curve over here. So let me show it in this graph actually. So how do I find the small increase in the current with a small increase in the applied voltage? So I basically measure the slope of this line over here. So I basically measure the slope of this line. So this curve corresponds to the slope of this line. Let us call this slope as delta. Okay, so delta is the slope of the IV curve at V equal to VDC. And this is basically equal to di dv del I del v at v equal to vdc. So I basically measure the slope of this curve, and after measuring the slope, how do I find the small change in applied current? So the small change in applied current is basically delta I equals to the slope delta into delta v. Okay, so if delta v is basically the small increase in the applied voltage, then the small increase in the applied current, or the small increase in the total current, is basically this delta v times the slope of this IV curve at v equal to vdc. Okay, so this delta is basically delta I by delta v, and in the limit that this delta v tends to 0, this becomes del I del v at v equal to vdc. Okay, so note that this unit delta I by delta v, or del I del v at v equal to vdc, the unit of delta is basically that of conductance. Okay, and this is basically known as the small signal conductance this is basically known as the small signal conductance or the diffusion conductance. Okay, now we can easily calculate this equation over here, and note that as I stated that this delta I is equal to delta into the small increase in the applied voltage delta V. So this equation, once I know the value of delta, this equation basically relates the small increase in the applied voltage to the small increase in the total current. So basically this delta basically relates the AC component or the time varying component of the voltage to the time varying component of the current. Okay, as I stated that the small signal AC model basically relates the AC component of the applied voltage to the AC component of the applied current or the total current. Note that this equation gives me no information about IDC or the DC component of the current. I only get the information about a small increase in the current with a small increase in the voltage. So this equation doesn't give me any information about the DC component of the current or how much DC component is flowing through the diode. Okay, so that is what I said, that the AC model only relates the AC component of the applied voltage to the AC component of the total current. It doesn't give me any information about the DC component of the current or how the DC voltage is related to the DC component of the current or vice versa. Okay, so this equation basically gives us the information only about the AC components, and that is why this model is known as the small signal AC model. Okay, so we know and it is not difficult that it is not difficult to find out what is this value of delta is. Actually this delta is denoted by another letter which is known as GD, G for conductance and D for basically diffusion, since it is known as the diffusion conductance. Okay, so GD is basically del I del V at V equal to VDC. So this basically we can actually this is not very difficult to find. We just need to replace this current by the current voltage equation of the diode. So this is basically Is exponential V by Vt minus 1, and so this gives me Is divided by Vt exponential V by Vt. Okay, and again this component is approximately equal to the DC component of the current, because this differentiation is basically carried out at V equal to VDC. So this is VDC here. So this component is approximately equal to the DC component of the current, because we can actually so let me write it here to clarify this point. This IDC is basically Is exponential VDC by Vt minus 1, and in the limit that this VDC is actually much greater than Vt. If VDC is much greater than Vt, then we can actually neglect this minus 1 here, and we can actually write the total current IDC as approximately Is exponential VDC by Vt. Okay, and this, as I said, that this equation is or this condition is always valid, because Vt basically is the thermal voltage, and this is approximately equal to 25.9 millielectron volts, or not millielectron volts but millivolts at T equal to 300 Kelvin. This is basically equal to kT by Q. Actually, you can calculate this. K is basically Boltzmann constant, T is basically the temperature, and Q is basically the electronic charge. And as I say that VDC is always greater than V gamma in this kind of cases. So, and V gamma is greater than 0.3 volts. So this condition is always satisfied actually. So IDC is approximately equal to Is exponential VDC by Vt. So this equation, actually in this equation, this Is exponential VDC by Vt is equal to IDC. So this becomes approximately equal to IDC divided by Vt. So the small signal or the diffusion conductance is basically IDC divided by Vt. Okay, and when we actually transform our model from the actual model to the small signal model, so let us consider this case where this VDC is applied across the diode, and in series there is a AC voltage VAC, and these are actually applied across the diode. Okay, so this is the actual circuit, and then we actually, when we replace it with the small signal AC model, this model basically becomes, this is the real circuit, and when we replace it by the small signal AC model, this diode basically becomes a conductance which is equivalent to the small signal AC conductance or the diffusion conductance GD, and then this diode is basically replaced by GD here, and then this end of the diode is basically grounded. So this end of the diode is grounded, and again, as I told earlier, that the small signal or AC model does not give us any information about the DC component of the current. Okay, and it relates the AC component of the voltage to the AC component of the current. So in the small signal or the AC model, the small signal AC model, this DC voltage would no longer be added, because we only want to know how the AC current or the AC component of the current is related to the AC component of the voltage. And it's actually it is not wrong to actually omit this DC voltage, because there is no AC component of the current which basically comes from this DC voltage. A DC voltage can only produce DC current. A DC voltage cannot produce AC current. So this DC voltage is actually omitted here, and we only put this AC voltage here, VAC, and then this side is grounded. So this diode is basically replaced by this diffusion conductance GD. Okay, so this is the small signal AC model of the diode for low or moderate frequency. At high frequency, the diffusion and the depletion capacitance basically comes into picture. So at high frequency, or even at moderately high frequency, this the equivalent circuit of the diode for the small signal AC model basically becomes this. There is a small signal conductance or the diffusion conductance GD, then there is this diffusion capacitance, then there is this diffusion capacitance which we call C diff, and then there is the depletion capacitance which we call C diff. Okay, so this is the small signal AC model of the diode for moderately high frequency or high frequency. Okay, so as I stated earlier that the function of the DC voltage is basically to actually bring the diode or bring the electronic device to the low resistance state actually, or to cross the voltage V gamma, and this is exactly the purpose that the batteries in your mobile phone, or let us say the DC charging port of your let us say the set-top box actually does. So this is exactly what the DC voltage basically do to our electronic devices actually, and this process of bringing this diode or other devices, the process of bringing the diode or other devices to low resistance state by applying a DC voltage is known as DC biasing. Okay, so we'll learn more about DC biasing when we discuss transistors. Now we will end our class by actually studying something which is known as the load line, and after that we will do a small problem today. So let us consider the forward biased characteristics of the diode. So this forward biased characteristics of the diode basically look like this. Okay, now let us consider this circuit here. So we have an applied voltage V, and let us consider this voltage is DC voltage, and then a resistance R here, and then this diode which is connected to this resistance. Okay, now this is the IV equation of the diode. So this is the characteristics of the diode basically, and then there is also a characteristic equation for the resistor. The characteristic equation for the diode is basically let us call it ID and VD here to denote the diode actually, ID and VD. So the characteristic equation of the diode is ID equals to Is exponential V by Vt minus 1, this in third brackets here. Okay, and this is Vd, actually the voltage drop across the diode. So the voltage drop across the diode is Vd, and let us consider the voltage drop across the resistor as Vr. Okay, now the same current actually flows through the resistor and the diode because they are basically connected in series. So the current through the resistor IR is basically equal to ID, and the current across the resistor IR is also equal to V minus Vd divided by R, where Vd is basically the voltage drop across the diode. Okay, so this is, if we want to write it in a simpler format, this would be basically VR by R, where VR is basically the voltage drop across the resistor, and VR is basically equal to the DC voltage V minus the voltage drop across the diode Vd and divided by R here. Okay, so if I plot this ID versus Vd equation, which is basically comes from the, or which is basically coming from the characteristics equation of the resistor, then we would get a straight line, because this equation, this ID Vd equation, is basically a linear equation, and it has a slope of minus 1 by R here. Okay, so if we plot this IDVD equation here, it would basically look like this. So it basically looks like this, where this slope is basically minus 1 by R, as we can see that the slope is basically minus 1 by R here. So this slope is basically minus 1 by R, and then when basically ID is 0, then we can already understand that Vd is equal to the applied voltage V. So Vd is equal to the applied voltage V here when ID is basically 0, and then when Vd is equal to 0, that is at this point, the current is basically V by R. Okay, when this Vd is basically 0, so this current here is basically V by R over here. Okay, now this circuit actually has to satisfy both the IV equation of the diode and the IV equation of the resistor. So it has to satisfy both this diode equation, which I call as equation 1 here, and the resistor equation here, which I call as equation 2 here. So the current of the diode has to satisfy both this equation, and that is why the solution lies at the intersection of these two characteristics lines, which is basically this marked point over here. Okay, so this is the solution basically, okay, for a load resistor of R. Now if I change this load resistor to, let us say, 2R instead of R, then we would actually get another line with a different slope. Okay, so we would be getting another line here with a different slope, and this slope here, because the resistance has become 2R now, the slope here is actually minus 1 by 2R now, and at Vd equal to 0, the current is actually V by 2R instead of V by R. So we get a different solution point now. Okay, so these lines, these straight lines, basically this line and this line over here, these lines depend, or the slope of these lines depend as the depend on the load resistor R. So these lines are basically known as load lines. Okay, so this line is known as load line because it basically depends on the load resistor R. So let me write it here. The load line is so called because it depends on the load resistor R, and analyzing this entire circuit of resistor and diode in this way is basically known as load line analysis. So let me write the term here, load line analysis. And the points of solutions, which are basically this point here for a load resistor of 2R, and this point here for a load resistor R, these solutions are known as Q points or the Q scan point. Let me write it Q point over here. Okay, so for a particular load resistor, we actually have a particular Q point. For a particular load resistor, we have a particular Q point, or this is also known as Q scan point. Okay, so Q scan point or Q point is nothing but the solution of the IV, so solution of the current and voltage in a circuit of a load resistor and a diode. Okay, and I again repeat that analyzing this circuit in this way is basically known as load line analysis. And we will actually, this is just a demo. Right now we will actually learn more about this when we actually analyze and study about transistors. So right now just know this thing. Okay, now let us do a small problem and end our class for today. Okay, so you are basically given a circuit, the same circuit that we learned about. So we have a resistor and a diode here, and this terminal is basically grounded, and here we have a AC voltage source VAC, which is in series with a DC voltage source, which we call VDC here, and this point is grounded. Okay, now it is given that this VDC is basically equal to 5 volts. The resistance R is equal to 43 kilo ohms. So this is the resistance R here, and you are also given that for the diode, the cut-in voltage V gamma is equal to 0.7 volts, and you are also told that the amplitude of the AC voltage or the AC component of the voltage is basically 5 sin omega t, let us say, in millivolts actually. Okay, so the amplitude of the AC voltage is basically 5 millivolts, and you are asked to find out what is the DC component of the current, and you are also asked what is the AC component of the current. Okay, now let us first calculate the DC component of the current, and as I stated earlier, that an AC voltage source cannot give rise to a DC current. Okay, if you have a AC voltage source, you cannot get a DC current from that. You will always get a AC current from a AC voltage source, and that is why here we can calculate the DC current even if we remove the AC voltage source, because the AC voltage source does nothing to actually create the DC current. Only the DC voltage source gives rise to DC current. Okay, so when we do the DC analysis, or when we try to figure out what is the DC component of the current, we basically remove this AC voltage source, and our equivalent circuit for DC analysis, equivalent circuit for DC analysis basically becomes like this. So there is a DC voltage here, this point is grounded, there is a resistor R of 43 kilo ohm, there is a diode whose cut-in voltage is 0.7 volts, and then this point is grounded. So this DC voltage is 5 volts, this resistor R is 43 kilo omega, and this diode has a cut-in voltage V gamma equal to 0.7 volts. Now we will be using the piecewise linear model of the diode, which basically means that if the diode voltage, or let us say if there is a current flow across the diode, then the voltage across the diode is constant at V gamma. Okay, once the diode is in conducting state, or once a current is flowing through the diode, the voltage across the diode is constant at V gamma. So here, so as I stated that in case of a diode, this is the P side and this is the N side over here, and positive voltage is actually applied to the P side. Okay, so the diode is in conducting state because this applied voltage is actually greater than 5 volts. Okay, if this applied DC voltage would be 0.3 volt, then this diode would not be in conducting state. Okay, since this applied voltage is actually 5 volts, this diode is in conducting state, and the voltage across the diode is actually constant at V gamma. This is what the piecewise linear model tells us. So if you have forgotten, let me remind you from a previous slide that I wrote. For any finite value of current, the voltage across the diode is fixed at V gamma. Okay, so if current is flowing through the diode, then the voltage across the diode is basically fixed at V gamma. Okay, so we know that since 5 volt is applied, and since the positive voltage is connected to this P side over here, the diode would conduct current, and the voltage across the diode is constant at 0.7 volts. Okay, so in that case, the potential difference between these two ends of the diode is basically 0.7 volts. Then what is the voltage drop across the resistor? The voltage drop across the resistor is VR equals to 5 volts minus V gamma, which is 5 volts minus 0.7 volts, which is 4.3 volts. So the current through the resistor is basically IR equal to VR divided by R, which is 4.3 volts divided by 43 kilo ohms. So this is equal to 0.1 milliampere. So this is basically the DC current across the resistor and also across the diode. Okay, because we have used only this DC source over here. Okay, so we already got to know about the DC current. So IDC is basically 0.1 milliampere. Okay, now we are also asked about the AC current. Now to find the AC current, we basically need to replace this circuit with the small signal AC model. To remember, you remember that in the small signal model or the AC model of the diode, this diode is basically equivalent to a resistor with conductance GD. Okay, so this diode is equivalent to a resistor whose conductance is basically GD. So we have to find out the value of GD at first. So let us find out the value of GD. GD is basically equal to IDC divided by VT. This equation we have seen earlier today, and IDC we have already calculated to be 0.1 milliampere. So this is equal to 0.1 milliampere divided by VT, and we would assume T equal to 300 Kelvin. So VT is basically equal to 25.9 millivolts, and this gives me approximately 1 by 259 omega inverse. So RD is basically GD inverse, which is equal to 259 omega. Okay, now remember that in the small signal AC model, it actually gives us information how the AC component of the voltage is related to the AC component of the current. So in the small signal AC model, we can actually remove the DC source, because the DC source does not create AC current, only the AC voltage creates the AC current. Okay, so we just remove this DC source from the small signal AC model. In the small signal AC model, we then have this voltage VAC. Then there is a resistor which is 43 kilo ohm, and then we have the diode. Now the diode in the small signal AC model is equivalent to a resistor which is 259 omega basically. Okay, and then this is basically grounded. Okay, so IAC, the AC component of the current, is basically VAC divided by so let us call it RD, and let us call this resistor R. So divided by R plus RD, and this is equal to 5 sine omega t millivolts divided by 43 kilo ohm plus 0.259 kilo ohm, and this is basically equal to 0.1156 sine omega t microampere. So when you divide this millivolts by kilo ohm, you basically get microampere. Okay, so the AC component of the current is 0.1156 sine omega t microampere. And if you also want to calculate the the AC component of the voltage drop across the diode, which is basically not asked in this question, but for your information, if you want to calculate the AC component of the voltage drop across the diode, you can actually multiply this IAC with this diffusion resistance or the small signal resistance, and you can get so 0.1156 into 259 sine omega t microvolts, which is basically equal to, let me check it out, so 29.94. So 29.94 microvolts basically, sine omega t microvolts actually. So sine omega t microvolts. Okay, so this is the basically AC component of the voltage drop across the diode. Okay, so this is how you actually do this kind of problem. Let us do up to here today. Thank you everyone.